Hi, I want to tell you something that happened to me when I was arrested for civil disobedience, something I've never told before. I was arrested protesting the plans of the Crestwood Midstream Corporation out of Houston to store gazillion gallons of flammable gas, fracked gas, in salt caverns in upstate New York near Watkins Glen on the shores of Seneca Lake. Subsequently, more than 400 other people have been arrested. And this, for those of you who don't know about it, is just one more of those fights where it's big industry comes in and they use their money and their muscle, and they don't care what happens to the people who live there. This thing could disrupt our way of life, put some of our businesses out of business, pollute our lake. 100,000 people drink from it, and it might also explode in any one of a dozen scenarios and kill us. So it's something we don't want. And you know, when the gas company comes in, it's like they treat us like we're just what crawled out of the woodwork. Actually, that's something I've taken fairly seriously. I've tried to think, you know, how do they think we got into the woodwork? I always have wondered about that saying, you know, like we crawled out of the woodwork. What do they think? Like we live in the woodwork, and then like, oh, you know, doctors commute to the hospital and come right back after work to be in the woodwork, and mothers pick up their kids at schools and say, no, I can't go to that teacher-parent conference. I've got to rush back to the woodwork in case a gas industry executive comes by. You know, I thought about it a lot, and then I finally realized, it came to me in a flash, what's really going on there. It's kind of the projection of their guilt. Because I thought, starting from the other end, I thought, well, what does come out of the woodwork? And I realized the only three things that make critters come rushing out of the woodwork are the very three things that the gas industry sells: toxic chemicals, fire, and explosions. So there we are. We're what crawls out of the woodwork because we don't want to be threatened with these things. And I chained myself to the gates. Subsequent protesters dispense with the chain. It's cheaper, and they arrest you just the same. And I'm joined by two people unexpectedly, a guy by the name of Gary Judson, a retired man of the cloth, and a very saintly woman named Susan Walker, who actually led the way. It was the first of our group to go to jail in protest against Crestwood. And so there we are with our backs against Crestwood's fence, and I hear something behind me, and this is the thing I haven't spoken about before. And I look back, there's 4 or 5, maybe 6 guys there from the facility. You know, I guess they're the kind of like managers or something. And the one who's the closest, it's kind of like a phalanx, and the one who's the closest is holding a camera up to his face. So I say to Gary, hey, look, and we turn around and we put on our best smile for the camera. And just then, as the guy's about to take the picture, it's like time freezes. I don't know if this happened to Susan or Gary or not, because these are not the kinds of things people normally discuss. That's why I'm talking about it for the first time, but it was like time froze. And then I heard some kind of harmony coming out of the sky. It was very beautiful, and I looked up, and I saw an angel with outspread wings that seemed to cover the sky, but it couldn't have really been that big. It's just some pulsating vibration of peace that came out of it, and there by it was like a hole in the sky. Through the blue sky I could look up and I could see it was like entering into another realm above, not the normal sky, and there was light coming from it. And the angel said to me inside, it said, come. And I thought to myself, I can't fly. And the angel like read my thoughts and said, with me you can. And I started to rise up, and I feared I was dying. And the angel read my thoughts again and said, no, you're not dying. And we went up through regions of light, through spheres of light, through realms of light, until we came to like a place of light. And in it we went down like through corridors, although the word doesn't do it justice, until we came into a grand room. And there, in this room, it was like a chair, a throne made out of light. It was a light we don't even have on Earth, some kind of light that you just felt peaceful to look at it and grateful. And there, seated on that chair of light, was a wizened old man with a beard and a kindly look in his eye. And I thought to myself, surely this must be the throne of God. And the angel heard my thoughts. It said, no, that's Morty Pinkowitz in the identification section. Go up and see what he wants. So tremblingly, I walked up to this Angel Pinkowitz, and I looked up and he said, listen, we want you should do something for us. I said, of course, for the Lord, I'll do anything. Good, said Pinkowitz. He said, listen, then you left Earth. And summoning up all the perspicacity and wisdom in my possession, I said, Earth? And Pinkowitz kind of frowned and just, drummed his fingers for a moment, and it all kind of gradually cleared up. I guess that kind of thing happens a lot up there. It's nice. And so anyway, I was there. All of a sudden, I remembered the guy with the camera, and Angel Pinkowitz said, listen, sometimes you see something, and you just forget you even saw it. You don't even know what you saw. I said, that's true. And he said, this time, I want it should be like it's a pretty girl or something you saw. I want you should look at these guys that are taking your picture. And I want you to impress it in your mind. I want it in your mind. Really think about it. I said, oh, okay, I'll really make an effort to do that. I'll do that. But I know I'm just a mere mortal, and, I probably couldn't understand it. But could you try to tell me something about why you want me to do that? Oh, sure, Pinkowitz said. He said, look, if you put it in your mind, we can read your mind and we can see the image, he said. And these guys, they're from the gas industry. They're just curious what they look like. We never see those guys up here. That's all.